Once upon a starry night, Baby High lay in his little crib, with the moon smiling through the window and the stars twinkling gently above. His parents sat close, singing a sweet lullaby that wrapped the room in warmth, and Baby High's toys swayed softly as if they too were listening to the melody. The stars above danced a little brighter, swirling into shapes of animals and hearts, and Baby High watched them dreamily, his eyelids heavy with sleep, until at last he drifted into a peaceful dream. Morning sunlight filled the nursery, and Baby High woke up giggling as his brother rushed in holding a shiny toy car. With a big smile, the brother fixed the car and showed Baby High how to stack colorful blocks into a tall tower. Together, they clapped their hands, laughing and moving in rhythm, their joy bouncing through the room like music. Soon, the family went out to the garden, where a cheerful farmer appeared with his dog, Bingo. The children clapped their hands as the farmer sang, "There was a farmer who had a dog," and Bingo wagged his tail, joining the circle dance. Each letter of his name was sung with claps and stomps, and laughter filled the air as the dog barked happily in time with the music. Later, Baby High's sister called him into the kitchen, inviting him to bake cookies together. They mixed flour, sugar, and butter. The sky was painted with the colors of dawn, and the world looked like a magical dream. Then, Mama Duck began to sing in her sweet, gentle voice. 5 little ducks went out one day, over the hill and far away. The ducklings quacked along, their laughter echoing across the hills. They waddled up a soft green hill covered with daisies and tiny bluebells. Every step they took made the grass sway like waves in a sea of color. At the top of the hill, the 5 little ducklings paused and looked around. The valley stretched out below them, glowing under the morning sun. Suddenly, one playful duckling saw a bright blue butterfly fluttering nearby. His eyes sparkled with curiosity. He wiggled his tail and ran after it, giggling as the butterfly danced just beyond his reach. The butterfly landed on his beak for a moment, then flew away, leaving him smiling in wonder. Meanwhile, Mama Duck looked back and started counting. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Cobweb decorations on the walls. Yo-Yo helped by placing smiling pumpkins on the window ledge, each one with its own silly face. Tom-Tom spread out purple and orange fairy lights across the living room, and when he plugged them in, the whole room sparkled like a cozy haunted castle. JJ laughed as he saw his reflection in the window. "Look, I'm glowing too," he said, waving his little arms. Mommy giggled and clapped. "Now it's time for the Halloween countdown," she announced. Daddy placed a big colorful clock on the table with bright numbers from 10 down to 1. "When we reach 0, he said, "our Halloween celebration will begin." The children gasped with excitement. "Let's start the countdown." As the music played, JJ ran to his room and grabbed his costume, a big, round, shiny pumpkin outfit. Yo-Yo twirled in her sparkly fairy dress, wings fluttering as she sprinkled pretend magic dust in the air. Tom-Tom appeared wearing a superhero cape and a mask made of cardboard stars. "Super Tom-Tom is here to save Halloween," he declared proudly. Everyone laughed as Daddy joined in with a playful, "Oh no, the candy thief," pretending to steal a cupcake from the table. Mommy brought out a tray filled with warm apple cupcakes, soft and sweet with tiny candy pumpkins on top. The smell filled the air and JJ's tummy growled happily. They smell like happiness," said Yo-Yo as she took a bite. Daddy smiled. "Now it's time for some trick-or-treat fun, right here."
Once upon a time, in a bright and beautiful valley, where the sun smiled gently and the breeze carried songs of joy, there lived a kind and loving Mama Duck. Every morning, she woke up beside the sparkling blue pond, surrounded by blooming flowers, butterflies, and the cheerful chirps of her 5 little ducklings. They were the happiest family in the meadow. Mama Duck loved teaching her babies new things, and today she had a special idea. She fluffed her feathers, smiled warmly, and said, "Good morning, my little ones. Are you ready for our counting adventure?" The ducklings jumped up and down, flapping their tiny wings in excitement. "Quack, quack!" they chirped, their voices blending into a melody of happiness. The golden morning light danced on the water as Mama Duck lined them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, she counted softly. "All my babies are here." The ducklings waddled in a perfect line, their reflections glimmering in the pond.
Tiny fireflies. Then the Boo But Not Scary song began. JJ pointed to a balloon ghost and sang, "Boo but not scary, just funny and merry." Yo-Yo joins in, waving her wand, "Bats in the sky, pumpkins that fly." Tom Tom added a heroic verse, "Super Tom Tom saves the treats tonight." Everyone laughed so hard they almost fell to the floor. After the song ended, they all gathered on the couch, smiling and tired, but so happy. Mommy brought warm milk in little pumpkin mugs, and Daddy set down a plate of cookies shaped like stars and moons. "Happy Halloween, everyone," said Daddy. "You made this the best night ever." The children snuggled under their soft pumpkin blankets, sipping milk and humming the Halloween lullaby that Mommy softly sang. The lights dimmed and the countdown clock glowed, 00, Happy Halloween. Mommy kissed JJ's forehead and whispered, "Good night, my little pumpkin." Outside,
As if alive with music. Baby High pointed at the moon, and to his delight, the moon winked back and sang along. The children built a tall tower of colorful blocks, cheering with each piece. Bingo balanced a ball on his nose, and everyone clapped for his trick. The farmer strummed his guitar, filling the garden with cheerful music, while the children stomped their feet in time. The siblings dressed in funny costumes and danced across the room, Baby High clapping while wearing a tiny hat. Mama brought out fresh cookies from the oven, and the family gathered close to share them, laughing as crumbs sprinkled everywhere. Baby High offered his last candy to Papa, and everyone cheered for his generosity. Together, they sang loudly, marching around the room with footsteps that made a playful beat. Papa and Mama joined the march, clapping their hands while the children laughed. Baby High pointed at the night sky again, and suddenly the stars swirled into glowing shapes of lions, elephants, and flowers. The family waved at the star animals, clapping and singing as the shapes sparkled above them. The music slowed down, and Baby High yawned. Mama picked him up gently, rocking him in her arms. Papa switched off the lights, and the stars glowed even brighter, while the moon smiled warmly through the window. The family gathered around Baby High's crib, singing softly as toys and stuffed animals listened quietly from the shelf. Baby High closed his eyes with a smile, drifting into sleep, while the moon, stars, and his loving family glowed together in peaceful harmony.
once upon a chilly Halloween night, the golden moon shone brightly over JJ's cozy little house. Inside, JJ pressed his tiny hands against the window, watching the gentle wind swirl the fallen leaves outside. His pumpkin bucket sat empty beside him, and his big round eyes sparkled with both excitement and worry. "It's so cold outside," JJ whispered softly. "Will we still get to have Halloween fun?" Mommy, who was setting a warm pumpkin candle on the table, smiled warmly. "Of course, sweetie," she said. "We'll bring all the Halloween magic right here, inside our home." JJ turned around, eyes wide. Really? Yo-Yo cheered, jumping up and down. Yes, said Daddy, walking in with 2 big boxes full of decorations. We'll make this the best Halloween ever. Tom rushed over, tripping slightly but giggling as he opened the boxes. Out came bright orange lights, cute bat cutouts, smiling pumpkin stickers, and even a soft toy ghost that glowed when squeezed. Mommy turned on some happy Halloween music. The whole room filled with bouncy beats as JJ clapped his hands and shouted, "Ha ha, Halloween!" The fun had begun. Daddy lifted JJ up high so he could hang packed pillows and blankets into a little indoor castle. JJ added spider balloons on top, while Yo-Yo hung shiny cobweb strings across the entrance. Inside the fort, it glowed softly with fairy lights. "Welcome to our haunted castle," said Tom in his superhero voice. They all crawled inside, cozy and warm, surrounded by glowing pumpkins and soft music. After a while, Mommy handed them each a glowing sticker sheet. She said, "Let's decorate ourselves." JJ put a glowing star on his pumpkin costume, Yo-Yo placed a tiny bat sticker on her cheek, and Tom added glowing stripes on his cape. They looked like shining heroes of Halloween. Daddy turned on a gentle fog machine and soft mist filled the floor. The children gasped as the mist curled around their feet like a magical cloud. "It's like we're walking on the moon," said JJ. Mommy nodded, smiling. "A Halloween moon made of dreams and giggles," she said. The family began to sing another cheerful tune, Friendly Ghost Parade. Little balloon ghosts floated above them as they danced in slow, silly steps. As the clock ticked closer to 0, Daddy announced, 5 minutes until the Halloween countdown ends." The children cheered. "Let's finish strong," said JJ. They all held hands and sang the Ha Ha Halloween song again, twirling and laughing. Mommy clapped along and Daddy lifted JJ high into the air. Suddenly, a burst of confetti filled the room. Orange, purple, and golden sparkles fluttered all around like fireflies floated gently around the pumpkins in the yard, glowing softly in the cool night air. Inside, the house was peaceful, filled with the warmth of love and laughter. JJ's eyes grew heavy as he whispered, "Thank you, Mommy. Thank you, Daddy." Yo-Yo smiled sleepily. "Best Halloween ever." Tom Tom's cape slid off his shoulder as he yawned. "Super Tom Tom needs a nap." The gentle Goodnight Halloween song played one last time, and the camera panned out to show the glowing house under the twinkling stars. The pumpkins by the window smiled softly in the moonlight, and the tiny voice, JJ's dream voice, whispered, "Happy Halloween to everyone, and may your nights be full of laughter and light." And so the Halloween night ended, not with spooky frights, but with happy hearts, glowing lights, and a family that turned a cold, quiet night into a warm, wonderful memory that would sparkle forever.
Swam gently, her 2 ducklings by her side. The water shimmered as they moved. Suddenly, a family of frogs began singing on their lily pads. "Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit," they croaked in rhythm. The ducklings laughed and clapped their wings to the beat, splashing colorful water droplets everywhere. "What a lovely song," Mama Duck said. The smallest duckling twirled in the water, dancing joyfully. But while they played, one little duck dove under the lily pads, chasing a shiny pebble at the bottom of the pond. When Mama Duck turned around, only one tiny duckling floated near her. "Oh, my baby," she whispered sadly. "Where are they all going?" She called again, "Quack, quack, quack." But only the frog's soft croaks answered her. She wrapped her wing around the last duckling and said, "We'll be strong, my dear. Never stop believing." The next morning was quiet. Mist rose from the pond like a gentle dream. The last little duckling waddled alone toward the far hill. The world seemed big and silent without his brothers and sisters. He stopped and looked back at the pond. His tiny eyes shimmered with tears. "Mama," he whispered softly, "I miss everyone." He took a deep breath and started walking back, determined to find his family again. "Me?" she gasped. "Oh no! One of my babies is missing!" Her voice trembled as she called, "Quack, quack, quack." The sound of her call echoed through the valley. In a moment, 4 little ducklings came running joyfully down the hill, but the smallest one was still missing. Mama Duck sighed and whispered, "Maybe tomorrow he will come back." The next day, the pond shimmered with the soft light of a new morning. Mama Duck stood proudly beside the water, her 4 ducklings by her side. "We will go out again. Maybe we will find your brother today." The ducklings nodded and followed her as they waddled toward the far side of the pond. The water rippled beneath their feet as they swam together, singing softly. A friendly turtle popped its head out of the water, smiling and waving its tiny flippers. "Hello, little ducks," the turtle said cheerfully. The ducklings laughed and splashed, sending tiny droplets of water glimmering like jewels in the air. They played and giggled, chasing bubbles and dancing around the turtle. But one curious duckling noticed a floating flower drifting away and decided to chase it. He paddled farther and farther until he was just a tiny speck in the distance. When Mama Duck turned around, she saw that only 3 ducklings were left. "Quack, quack, quack," she called, but the sound faded softly over the rippling pond. 3 little ducklings came back to her side, looking a bit sad. Mama Duck hugged them gently while Mama Duck stood by the pond, the reflection of the moon dancing on her feathers. The night was peaceful, but her heart felt heavy. She gazed at the stars and whispered to herself, "Quack, quack, quack." Her voice trembled, filled with hope and love. She looked at the quiet water, remembering all the laughter of her 5 ducklings. "Please come home," she said softly, closing her eyes. Just then, a faint sound echoed from the hills. It was small at first, but then grew louder. "Quack, quack, quack." Mama Duck's eyes opened wide. She turned toward the sound. Over the hill came 5 little ducklings running as fast as their tiny feet could carry them. "Mama! Mama!" they chirped happily. Mama Duck spread her wings wide, tears of joy shining in her eyes. "My babies!" she cried as they ran into her wings. They hugged her tightly, their feathers ruffling together in the soft moonlight. The pond glowed brighter, and the stars above twinkled as if celebrating their reunion. The next morning was the happiest day of all. The golden sun rose, painting the sky pink and orange. Mama Duck stood proudly
At home. The children ran from room to room, holding their little baskets. "Trick or treat!" they shouted, and Mommy hid tiny candies under pillows, behind books, and under the table. JJ found one behind the couch and raised it in the air like a treasure. "I found it! Yay!" he laughed. Tom discovered a chocolate under Daddy's hat, and Yo-Yo giggled as a balloon ghost popped out from under her chair. "Boo!" it squeaked in a silly voice. The music changed again, and the lights danced around the room. "Let's dance with the spooky shadows," Mommy said, dimming the lights. The children waved their hands, making big, funny shadow monsters on the wall. They sang and danced to the rhythm of their laughter. "Dance of the pumpkins," JJ sang, tapping on a small pumpkin like a drum. Yo-Yo clapped along, her fairy wings shimmering. Tom spun in circles until he fell onto the couch, laughing. Then Daddy came out of the hallway, wrapped in tissue paper from head to toe. "Oh no!" shouted JJ. "It's a mummy!" Daddy groaned playfully, arms outstretched, walking slowly toward them. The kids squealed and ran, hiding behind Mommy's chair. "Who dares to challenge the mummy of laughter?" Daddy said in a deep voice. JJ peeked out and said, "I do," and jumped at him, tickling his belly until the tissue paper started to fall apart. Everyone burst into giggles. Soon, Mommy said, "All right, everyone, let's decorate our pillow fort." Together, they stepped
with her 5 little ducklings beside her once more. "Let's count together," she said with a laugh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The ducklings jumped, quacked, and splashed in delight. "You're all here. My family is complete again." The turtle swam up, the bunny hopped over, and the frogs sang a cheerful tune to celebrate. All the animals clapped and danced as Mama Duck and her ducklings sang their favorite song together. 5 little ducks went out one day, over the hill and far away. Mama Duck said, "Quack, quack, quack," and all 5 little ducks came waddling back. The melody filled the air with love and laughter. The hills, the trees, and even the pond seemed to sing along. As the day came to an end, the family of ducks floated peacefully on the glowing water. The bunny, turtle, and frogs waved from the shore. The sky turned to deep violet as stars began to sparkle like diamonds. Mama Duck looked at her babies and whispered, "Always stay together, my little ones. No matter where you go, my love will always find you." The 5 little ducklings snuggled close to her, eyes closing gently as the moon rose high. The pond shimmered softly in the night, a perfect picture of peace and love. And as the crickets sang and the wind whispered through the grass, the ducks dreamed sweet dreams of family, laughter, and home. Once a bright morning in a peaceful valley, the golden sun began to rise, painting the sky with warm shades of pink and orange. The soft breeze made the tall grass dance, and the pond sparkled like a mirror of light. By the edge of that pond lived a kind and loving Mama Duck with her 5 little ducklings. They were the happiest family in the meadow with her wings, and whispered, "It's okay, my loves. We'll see them again soon." The next morning, sunlight poured through the clouds, painting everything in gold. Mama Duck led her 3 ducklings through a meadow filled with daisies, buzzing bees, and the scent of wildflowers. The ducklings waddled close to her, their tiny feet pressing patterns in the soft grass. They laughed as they rolled down small hills, tumbling into piles of flowers. One duckling noticed a soft white bunny hopping nearby. "Hello," the duckling chirped, waving his wing. The bunny stopped and wiggled its nose, then hopped closer, smiling. They played hide-and-seek behind a bush, giggling as they peeked at each other. But when Mama Duck called, "Come along, my little ones," the bunny hopped one way, and the duckling, too busy laughing, forgot to follow his mother. Mama Duck counted again. 1, 2. She gasped, "Oh no, only 2 ducklings." She called out, "Quack, quack, quack." Her voice floated across the meadow, but there was no answer. Only the sound of the wind and the gentle hum of bees filled the air. She took a deep breath and said softly, "Tomorrow, maybe tomorrow they'll all come back." Later that afternoon, the pond sparkled like liquid gold under the setting sun. Mama Duck with big wooden spoons, singing as they stirred. When Baby High spilled flour on the table, his sister comforted him, wiping the mess with a smile, and together they laughed, clapped, and slid the tray into the warm oven. Before eating, the siblings gathered at the sink, singing the hand-washing song as they splashed water and danced with silly moves. Mama and Papa joined them too, rubbing and rinsing their hands while giggles and music filled the room. After dinner, Baby High received colorful candies, his eyes wide with delight. But instead of keeping them all, he shared one with Mama, one with Papa, one with his brother, and one with his sister. Though his hands were soon empty, his heart was full of happiness, and the family clapped for his kindness. Then the music shifted into a lively beat as they danced together to the Aram Sam Sam song. They spun, clapped, and made funny gestures, and Papa danced so wildly that Baby High burst out laughing. The family danced until they were out of breath, falling on the couch with smiles still on their faces. Later, the children pretended to be monkeys, bouncing on the bed and singing with joy. One monkey fell off, and Mama called the doctor, who wagged his finger and warned, "No more monkeys jumping on the bed." But the monkeys jumped again until all had fallen, teaching Baby High the lesson of safety while filling the room with playful laughter. Soon, Baby High sat with his family, singing the Finger Family song. Each finger transformed into a smiling family member. Papa Finger, Mama Finger, Brother Finger, Sister Finger, and Baby Finger. Together they waved and danced as Baby High clapped along. The family gathered under a big tree outside, sharing cookies while birds chirped happily. The farmer and Bingo joined the picnic, and Bingo chased his tail while the children laughed. As evening fell, Baby Hi's sister told a bedtime story about magical stars. The sky lit up with twinkling shapes of animals and flowers as her words painted the night. Brother showed Baby Hi how to fly a toy airplane in the garden, and they watched it glide across the sky, running and laughing until the stars appeared once more. Back inside, the family danced together, clapping and spinning in a joyful chorus of Aram Sam Sam once more. Papa lifted Baby Hi high into the air, spinning him gently, while Baby Hi squealed with laughter. Mama sang a gentle lullaby as she hugged him, and the stars outside grew brighter, shimmering with the melody. The siblings taught Baby Hi how to clap in rhythm, and they all formed a circle, clapping softly together. Toys and stuffed animals joined the dance too, moving playfully